Hello, going live, going live. Boy, I'm not ready. I am not ready. Hey, it's Saturday. How are you, everybody? Thank you for clicking on the video. So, you're watching Night Drive Live, and decided to go ahead and go with it today. Figured we'd talk about some things. Some really cool stuff came out over the weekend, and I said, man, I don't feel like waiting until Monday. And I got nothing else to do, so yeah, let me do a quick cap here. I will admit I was slow to the game. But let me bring this up, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to be talking about today. And you're like, what is this? Well, we're going to be talking about some logos and trademarks. And apparently this here is Audi's new logo they're proposing, and they don't want to be touching each other. No touching. So that's what this is going to be about. We're going to be getting into the 400z. That's what this is supposedly going to be. We'll see if that's true or not. This is going to be very interesting. This is a new spy photo of the Corvette. And we're going to see, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, what's hanging off of the rear there. It's caught its own kind of little infection, and we will definitely discuss that. And we're also going to talk about the 24 hours of Lemans. So it is still on. I'm pumped about it. I'm going to talk about it. Stick around. You're watching Night Drive Live. Forced induction fabricator, engine management tuner, shop owner. I wanted to start a daily show about everything automotive. You're watching Night Drive Live. So guys, if you've never watched the show before, my name is Damian Knight. As you can see in the intro there, I've been running this daily show for 2 weeks now. Figured I really want to go for it. So if you've never watched the show before, throw me a sub, give me a shot, see if you might like it. Throw a comment below, let me know you're watching. Obviously, I'm scanning the live chat as well. So go ahead and say hello, say what's up, and we're going to have a car chat. That's what we're going to do because, what else do we have to do? Am I right? So let me show you here in this in our screen. This is the new Nissan logo. So if you think for a second, the Nissan logo has kind of run this little bit of a chrome reflective type of logo for many years, and this is actually going to be the new version of the Nissan logo. But also, they have trademarked this new Z logo. So that's probably a hint to the fact that we may be seeing a new 400Z. And so obviously we had the 300ZX. 350Z, 370Z, so there is some discussion whether it'll be a 400ZX or a 400Z, but this car has been caught testing over at the Nürburgring, and so you're like, that's a 370. I mean, what's the big deal here? Well, I mean, this was clearly a manufacturer car, and they drilled some holes here in the bumper, kind of a quick way to get some cooling in there while they were out there testing around the Nürburgring. So it is very likely that they were probably putting another type of power plant in there, and they theorize it could be a 4-liter twin turbo, could be a 3-liter, not really sure yet. They talk about engines out of the Infinity that may work well with this platform, so they're probably doing some validation testing, but this car was definitely out there, and so it is hopefully coming. As we see the Supra come on board, we've seen some rumors with Mazda talking about the RX-7 successor. Obviously, the 300ZX, was big during that era of Mark IV Supra, FD, RX-7, the 3000 GTs, if you recall those. So it would be great to see all these Japanese companies come back together and actually bring these cars back. And Nissan says they have no real intention of abandoning the Z platform overall. And so it would be cool to see a little bit of retro flavor, something to compete with the Supra. They talked about maybe undercutting the Supra a little bit. So we may see a cool new line of front engine, rear drive, traditional GT cars as we've seen the Corvette go mid-engine. So that'll be a cool thing, and I think a lot of people will be into that, and I know I would. So let me know what you think. Yo, Lil Unk, what's up? Throw me a comment over there, guys. Tell me what you think about that Japanese resurgence like the 90s. It was a great era. We had, RX-7 Supra, 300ZX, 3000 GT, which also ended up being they transferred with the Dodge platform under DSM. So a lot of cool cars, and hopefully we get to see some new Nissan. So what next? I can see your comment here, so feel free to throw me a like on this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Everybody is getting bombarded with current news, and I don't feel like a lot of these videos are getting promoted, so it would be great to have a little help on that. I appreciate it. But obviously the thing we can't say delayed the 24 hours of Le Mans. But luckily, and I mean so thankfully, this is the 88th Le Mans this year, and so long-running race, longest-running car race, I think, in history. Missing a year would be an absolute catastrophe to some people. To me personally, because I just love the race. It's fantastic, and obviously that happens over in France at Circuit de la Sarthe is how they say it, I think. I'm not French, sorry. But I'm pretty close. Because I've listened to a lot of Radio Le Mans, and that's definitely worth watching. So this year they are saying they're going to do it in September now, September 19th and 20th. The hard part about that is that, this is the WEC, the World Endurance Championship. They have that 24 Hours of Le Mans as one of their races in the series, but they invite cars from other series. The European Le Mans series, and in America we have the WeatherTech Championship. So the issue is logistics. It's getting these cars shipped over there. They usually have to bring a lot of spares, a lot of different equipment. So, they really had to make an advanced decision on this to decide, if they can have it or not, so everybody can adjust. And obviously, people fly from all over the world to go to France to see that race. So, big deal. Great sign that everybody is on board to keep things rolling before too long. So, came across this. Let me zoom in. Let me see. How about that one? So, yes, a lot of touching happening here, I'll admit, and this did just happen today. This was a Subaru Outback on top of what looks like a Toyota 86. And the interesting part about this is actually, upon further inspection, you can kind of see this is quite the wreck. That would be interesting to be in an accident like that. Pointy nose little car, under braking, you're kind of nose diving, car will go right up on top of yours, so it'd probably be pretty scary, I'd imagine. But it looks like the roof held up pretty well in this 86. But this is, interestingly, it is a special edition 86, and it's actually the final edition of the 86 that they said that they were going to make. Kind of is a little homage to a turnpike in Japan, and I believe it's called the Haroke, as I think is what it is. I'm trying to remember. Don't hold me to that. I'm not a big guy on 86s, but you know what I mean. Interesting little wreck. Figured I'd show it to you guys. Sorry about that. Bouncing around trying to figure out my screens. What are you saying? Hey, social distance. I got you. Yes, it is. So let's get into the Corvette situation here. So you're like, what is this thing? Yeah, this came out on the drive, and here it is. This is a C8, and you're like, well, I know what the C8 looked like. Well, why do they have camo on it? This was obviously a car that they still have a lot of the original camo and, kind of latches here for the canvas that they had when they had the heavy camo on it. And so they got this pack here, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's a generator, something to like power it down the road. So the interesting part is if you look here, and let me zoom in, I'm going to show you the real detail of this. You can see that little protrusion out of the hood. It's a little positive and negative battery cable plug. So basically, with everything that's happening, GM, has already stopped production, taking orders of the C8. These car companies are thinking, you know what, I need a little press. I need a little action. So lo and behold, this car popped out onto the road. This is definitely an old mule. It doesn't even have DOT lighting in it. Well, it is DOT lighting, but not the lighting that's in the C8. So this is a very early mule, and this car has been seen because of these kind of very identifiable connections here on the hood. So let me tell you a little bit about what you're looking at here. And I love the use of vice grips. I'm going to show you this. Let's appreciate that GM engineers, they're using vice grips. You can see them right there, quite a number of them actually. So in investigating this unit, as you can see, there's a brand logo called Sensors. And so that company is, I'm on another screen, but let me jump here and tell you that this company Sensors, basically, if you're familiar with Dieselgate and all these issues where these companies were starting to game the emissions testing, the EPA and everyone has stepped up and they want real live road testing now. So you're going to start to see cars that have this kind of configuration off of their back end where they have a big testing unit. And this is just basically data gathering. You can see they're running emissions tests through it, and among other things, though. And so there's some electrical connections here. This is quite a big unit, I did notice, because I had searched around to just see, kind of what was typical from this company. And a lot of the hybrids and things like that are the ones that have the extremely large units. The gas-powered cars, they are much more compact. And let me let me show you that and give you an example, and you can see what I mean. I'm trying to sort my photos here. But hold on 1 second. Where did it go? Right there. So sorry about that. Quick decision to do a show today, but as you can see with this gas-powered vehicle, it was only this lower unit. And you can see that unit on the Corvette here. It's down here, and it's actually, you can see that there are some slots going through the exhaust, so it's sampling NOx and CO2 and things like that. But the upper portion, in some photos you can see, have a lot of cables leading inside and things like that. So this may be the indicator, given the cables coming out of the hood and what's happening in the rear end, that this is probably some connection to the E-Ray, and we've seen the trademark already for the E-Ray. And the reason that you saw another picture flash on the screen of the chassis is I wanted to point out that obviously this car has no drive shafts, and so no torque tube like you would typically see, but the construction of this vehicle is actually somewhat similar in ways to the C6 and C5 and everything, and how it has this center tunnel core for torsional rigidity and things like that. But the idea is potentially that we could see lithium batteries put in this center tunnel for great weight distribution, not to really affect or alter the front to rear weight bias. And if we could get some lithium in there, we probably will see some type of supplemental system that will, the idea was with the C8R is there's a flat plane 5.5 liter, they think, and if you know flat plane V8s or flat plane 8 cylinders, they don't make as much torque because they have a 180 degree firing order basically, versus every 90 like a V8 would traditionally have. So they lack a little bit of torque. But where you would gain that torque is with some type of electric, hybrid system, like a KERS or something like you would see in Lemans. And so that's the idea, is they wouldn't have to put a very large pack. We wouldn't have to see something 80 kilowatts or anything. Potentially put a small pack in there like a Volt would have, or something even smaller, and maybe get a 20 kilowatt or 25 kilowatt system that will boost and torque fill. And so that will be very interesting if we see something like that. And so looking at the chassis, you can see that it's built for it. Also, they did look at the now that the C8 is out, they've looked at the fuse box, and there are a couple of positions in there that are marked that have something definitely to do with hybrid systems. So I think that's definitely coming, and without question, we're going to see some type of hybrid, if not fully electric, who knows, Corvette in the future. So that's pretty interesting, and that's about it for me today. I decided to do the show kind of on a whim. I saw the Corvette, which was pretty interesting, had to investigate it, thought, hey, some people out there might want to see what that is. So I decided to jump out there and throw it up on the screen. But doing well, guys. Everybody's doing well, hanging in there. Obviously, just do what you got to do. Build a model. I tell everybody, plan your next build. Use this time wisely. We're exercising, trying to improve our lives from just while hunkering down. So it's been fun, and it's going to be different. Lots to talk about in the future. But throw me a comment below. Tell me what you think about the E-Ray or hybrid Corvette, if you'd be interested in something like that. Obviously, we're very excited about the flat plane. But everything's going to come back, and we're going to be good to go, guys. So keep your head up. Keep searching for car stuff, like the video. Support us car guys out there just doing some shows. I'm going to be doing more videos on the Pathfinder this weekend, and I'm going to probably throw up a Z06 video or something like that. So I don't do all the live videos. I actually do a lot of packaged videos and things like that. So check out my channel. I'd appreciate it if you've gotten this far. Don't know if you have, but I'll catch you on the next one, guys. It's been fun. Little Unk, see ya on the next one. Later.